In this lesson, we're going to learn how we can convert units of measurement. We're going to start out by looking at time. It would be very helpful if in your notes you recorded these conversions so that you can refer to them as you're doing your work. In our two examples, we're looking at how we can find out how many minutes are in 4 hours. Now we're going to use those proportions that we've been working with other units such as percent to help us with these conversions. So in this first example, we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. We want to know how many minutes are in 4 hours. And so we're looking for the number of minutes total. Just like in our other work with proportions, we're going to look for a factor that we can use, and I know that I get from 1 to 4 by multiplying by 4. So I'll multiply the 60 minutes by 4, and that's going to give me 240 minutes. The same thing will be true if we're going from minutes to seconds. We know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. And the question is, how many seconds are in 15 minutes? Well, we can see we have the factor of times 15. So we'll multiply 60 times 15, and we will get that to be 900 seconds. So those proportional statements are going to help us. Sometimes it's nice to understand the unit rate, and we can then use that to help us solve problems. So in this table, we'll look at minutes to seconds conversions. We know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. So if I need 2 minutes, I know I can just double that. 3 minutes, I would triple my unit rate. 4 minutes would be 4 times, or 240 seconds. And 5 minutes would be 5 times, or 300 seconds. So you can use those proportional statements, or you can use the unit rate as well. On this page you see some of our basic customary units of length, the conversion of 1 foot to 12 inches, 1 yard to 3 feet, and then 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Please make sure you write these in your notes because we're going to need these conversions as we proceed. All right, let's do a problem that involves customary units of measure. If we know that 1 foot is 12 inches, how much would be 5 feet? So how many inches would be in 5 feet? So let's set up that proportion. We know that 1 foot is 12 inches. And we want to know how many inches are in 5 feet. So we'll use that factor of times 5. And 12 times 5 is 60. So we know we're looking at 60 inches. We can do the same thing if we want to go from inches to feet. We'll use that same 1 foot is 12 inches. We'll set that equal to 72 inches this time. Notice how our labels go in the same place on the two ratios. If we start off by putting feet on the numerator, then feet has to be in our numerator on that second ratio. And then you see the same thing happening with the denominator. We have the same labels in place. So this time we're working from 12 to 72. And I know that if I multiply 12 times 6, I get 72. So 1 times 6 on the feet would tell me that we are looking at 6 feet. Let's look at some statements involving comparisons of less than, greater than, or equal to. We're being asked on line 1 to compare 1 yard to 4 feet. Well, it would be helpful to convert so that we're looking at the same units of measure. Well, we know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. And so by comparing feet to feet, it's easy to see that 3 feet is definitely less than 4 feet. On line 2, we're looking at inches and yards. Well, we know that 1 yard is 36 inches. So we can compare 40 inches to 36 inches, and we know that 40 is greater than 36. You will always want to be looking at the like units of measure before you do that comparison. On the final example on this page, we see 3 feet compared to 30 inches. Well, we know that 3 feet is 36 inches. Okay, so now we can see that comparison that 36 is greater than 30. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples, a couple of context problems involving conversions. In this story, Sam lives 2 miles from school, while Valerie lives 10,542 feet from school. The question is, who lives closer to school? So we're going to explain our answer by showing our work. Now we're looking at miles and feet, so it would be helpful if we can convert either miles to feet or feet to miles. In this case, I'm going to convert the miles. I'm going to convert Sam's distance into feet. So we know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So let's see how many feet are in 2 miles. So we can look at that conversion. We see a factor of times 2 up here. So we'll multiply 5,280 times 2, and that's going to give us 10,560 feet. And we'll compare that 10,560 feet, and I'm going to make a note that this is Sam's distance. And then we'll compare that to 10,542 feet, which is Valerie's distance. And we know that 10,560 is greater than 10,542. So the question, remember, was who lives closer to school? And in this case, we would say Valerie lives closer to school. So make sure you go back and read the question that you're being asked to answer before you move on. Showing your work is necessary, but make sure you answer the question. All right, in our last example, we are looking at gallons to pints. And you're told the conversion. You're told that 1 gallon contains 8 pints. So we are being asked how many pints are in 5 gallons. We'll set up that same type of proportional thinking. 1 gallon is 8 pints. You could turn this over. If you have 8 pints over 1 gallon, that's fine. Just make sure that your second ratio's labels fall in the same place. Okay, we're looking at 5 gallons. So our conversion would include a factor of 5. So we'll multiply 8 pints times 5. Every gallon has 8 pints, and we have 5 gallons. So that tells us that we have 40 pints in 5 gallons. The second question asks us how much is 56 pints. They're asking us how many gallons would be included in 56 pints. So we'll use that same conversion, 1 gallon to 8 pints. And because we have the pints value, we're going to put that on the denominator of the second ratio. And we're looking at how do we get from 8 to 56? Well, we know that that's 8 times 7. So we'll multiply 1 gallon times 7, and that tells us that 56 pints would be the equivalent of 7 gallons. Okay, before you wind up your work on the video, make sure you have the conversions and the examples written down in front of you. Don't forget your WSQ, and we'll do some additional practice together. Thank you.